Maybe we should just dance today. That would be fun. Good morning, everybody. Welcome, CSL East Hawaii. Oh, I just love to see when I'm facing this way, I don't see all the people coming in behind, and it's just absolutely wonderful to see all of you. I'm Reverend Beverley Strutt. I'm the spiritual director here at the center for this magnificent community, and I'm delighted to see all of you. Welcome. And to all of those out there, welcome. I know, in fact, there is a Kaz out there is a Tom out there, and there is, I could just keep going on because I just got a whole bunch of notifications from all those people joining us online. So it's delightful to see you. Thank you so much. So, today, my goodness, I was like, there's so much to talk about, I didn't even know where to begin. So I thought, well, let's just go for the quick topic. The most important thing that's been happening around us, of course, are the Olympics. Yeah, anybody been watching the Olympics? Yes, I think for the most part we all are. And it is absolutely a magnificent way to experience the world as if we were those athletes. And I'll tell you more about that. But before we begin, we've got heavy topics coming up. So I have to share a little funny story with you. And I know that you guys might have heard me tell you this one before, but you know what? It's just exactly what I want to feel today. So, there's this guy, Larry Laprise. He wrote the Hokey Pokey. Yeah, you remember the song, the Hokey Pokey? Well, he died peacefully at the age of 93. But then there was this very traumatic part for the family, was putting him to rest in the coffin. They put the left leg in, and then the trouble started. You got it. Can you imagine that? I mean, that's a visual I want to see, really. And of course, you would expect nothing less of this divine spiritual energy that has a humor second to none, throughout the whole world. But anyway, let's get back to the Olympics. We've watched these magnificent athletes, and I could only imagine being in that village. Can you imagine being in the athletes' village with all the different traditions and cultures and ways of life and thoughts and ideas and enthusiasm for life? I mean, honestly, that enthusiasm for life. And, so many times, we'll hear about the things that go on and, it's about the medals and it's about the winning. And it's like the athletes are saying, well, I'm just taking one day at a time. I'm keeping my eye on the ball and focus and focus and focus. And, that attitude is shifting a little bit. I think we've noticed that there's more of life and a bigger picture coming into the athletes. They're seeing more than just that focus. Now, don't get me wrong. They have a focus and a commitment that is unbelievable. They know what they're doing. They're working towards it, and they have a tremendous focus and commitment. And we are all opening ourselves up to life a little bit more and more. Even the swimmer, Eric Fink, talked about the bigger picture of his life. He goes, I'm embracing the changes in my life. I told myself that swimming isn't going to get in the way of my life anymore. I'm finding a better balance. The athletes of the past, let's say 20, 30 years ago, would have thought those things maybe. But it wasn't really the norm of the way we look at life. It wasn't really the norm of how we connect with each other, or, as the topic is today, we spiritually connect with our own humanity. So many of the athletes were talking about the life balance, but not so much about just the winning. They talked about the process, the improving of themselves, the being more complete people. Roa Michelle, she began by saying, I try to wake up every morning and be a little better. And being better means a lot of things, like being a better teammate. I love how that feels. Being a better teammate. Suddenly we have a connection to more than just my own self, more than just me. I see us in the world together. I want to be a better teammate. And that's a whole talk all by itself. Can you imagine going down what that means to be the teammate? And we also, Muhammad Ali said one time, it isn't the mountains ahead to climb that wear us out, but it is the pebble in our shoe. Isn't that brilliant? It's not the mountain that wears us out, it's the pebble in our shoe. And that pebble, as we've heard in many different songs, is that little thing inside of us that we have to deal with, that we have to work through, so that we can accomplish what it is we desire. Thomas Edison said, if we did all the things we're capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. Isn't that amazing? So we can't let that pebble, whatever that pebble may be, get in the way of what we're doing. We can't see the mountain as all that there is. We have to get rid of whatever is not connecting us to our beautiful humanity to accomplish what we desire. There was also a lot of gratitude heard from the athletes, talking about how thankful they are for the support network that they have, the communities, and even their competition. I'm going to say that again because this is really important. They were thankful for the support network, the communities, and even their competition. Kathy Ledecky said, after the race, I told one of my rivals, thank you for making me better. It blows my mind because we know that we are all so wonderfully connected, and that as we do for ourselves and grow for ourselves, so we grow this divine energy that is God as well. It is an evolution that comes from within, but it begins within ourselves to connect. To connect, like Kit was saying, we seek that connection with God. We seek it, and it is our spiritual connection. And it begins with our own humanity. Okay, in the show of sportsmanship and friendship that captured the world's attention, American gymnasts Simone Biles and Jordan Childs bowed to their fellow competitor. I mean, come on. It's a very emotional thing because, it's their life's purpose. They seek to win these medals, And the thing about it is that most of the athletes that go don't take a medal home with them. But they take with them something that we can't even imagine. We can't even imagine. And when we see the humility in it now, and this absolute sort of just awareness and awe of what each person is accomplishing in their own right. And like I'm saying one more time, it's not that they're not focusing on what that desire is. It's not that there isn't a whole community behind them going, you can do this, and getting mad with the others that win. Of course, we want our folks to win. But in the big picture, we know that we all win as each person does. There are a lot of the Olympians that think that sport can send important messages about their identities. They're showing up with all of their identities, and I think that this Olympics, this time around, showed us more personal identity and individuality and collectiveness than we've ever seen before. And because we're shifting in that direction, we're open to seeing the different ways that people identify and honoring that within themselves and within us, for we're all part of it. When Iona Meyer said, a lot of times our bodies have been just an object to be looked at, but sports can give the body a purpose and show what it's capable of, and not just something for others to judge. Wow. Can you imagine working your whole life to get to the Olympics and all you hear is, well, she's gained a couple, oh my goodness, she should have done it this way, or that wasn't, oh my gosh, she didn't do it right. Can you imagine what that, if you hear that as somebody that has given your all, literally years and years of your life to accomplish this, and they're judged by something that is part of your physicality that cannot be changed and should not be changed. I get so excited about the awareness around these things. I can just jump out of my skin with that. And now one of the other topics that is really, really important come up, and it started in the last Olympics, was this talking openly about mental health. Anna Carell said, while she was experiencing depression, she was training. She goes, what I do tell myself is, girl, get into that therapist's office. It isn't about being or working on myself for just a short time. The progress comes from the healing that comes when you're no longer in crisis. But they are talking about it. This is an open topic now. It's not something we keep behind closed doors. We can talk about it. We can air it out. We can bring it out into the open. And when we see on this world stage people being willing to be vulnerable and be in that moment to speak about the mental, the depression, the issues that come up that they have to deal with in this specific activity, we can understand that it's for us too. We get to go there too. We get to talk about it. And then, of course, many of them speak about their performances being based in this knowingness now that there is a spiritual connection that supports and supplies us in everything that we do. Yemisa Oglene said, after my first throw yesterday when I slipped and fell, I went back to my seat and sang one of my favorite hymns. And after singing her song, she went back out and won gold. There it is. There it is. This is what we do. We lean back into this magnificent divine energy, this spirituality that is always there, always providing, supplying, supporting. It never, ever holds back. But like Kit said, we have to be willing to take. We have to be willing to receive, because we can only use this to the degree that we are willing to receive it. Willing to receive. And even in our spiritual mind treatment, the steps that they have labeled now, it says, are you ready to receive? It's important, because all of this goodness is out there, but if you're not willing to receive it, well, guess what? It's going to go right by you, and the person behind you is going to go, thank you. But there isn't a pie, remember, there isn't a pie. There's no pie. There's no pie. We're not at the county fair. There's no pie. I watched one of those shows last night, the baking show, the blue ribbon baking show for the county fairs. That's why I could say this. Anyway, so the whole point of this whole of the Olympics that I wanted to bring back to us is, as we watch this, it's the microcosm of the macrocosm that's going on in the world, the changes that we're seeing happening, the willingness to be open to all of it, and the willingness to bring it up and speak about it. And as they're experiencing it, so we are experiencing it too in our own lives and in our own communities. So how do we deal with it in our own communities? How do we deal with these different experiences? How do we deal with the different identities that are showing up to be known and recognized and honored? How do we deal with mental illness? How do we deal with the depressions and the traumas that have come before in our lives? We turn our back, we walk away, too much for me to deal with? Yeah, no, I have not seen that here. That's for sure. And I want to tell you something. I've been in many communities, and everybody is opening up. We're slowly blooming to this whole idea of how community handles all these different situations that have come our way and the different traumas that everybody is experiencing. And it's all individual to them, but as a community, we get to hold that. We get to be an open and safe place for people to come and be who they are and find the healing that they are asking for. Even if they don't know it yet, they are called here to do those things, to be that way, to be open. We don't turn that away. That is not what we're called here to do. And sometimes it is not easy. But then again, I think spiritual connection to our humanity has never been easy. We have come over many hurdles of old belief systems and desires and not knowing, and people telling us what we should be thinking and doing, and yet we're in this moment in time. In this moment in time, when we get to say there's a new way of doing it. Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this teaching, says, never limit your view of life to any past experience. Always expect the good. Always expect the good. Never limit your view of life to any past experience. Always expect the good. And as we know this, as we know that we create our experience, if we expect the good, what are we going to get? The good. Now, let's not get confused with expectation and expectancy. I love those two words. Expectation there feels a little limited and a little just a single pointedness of what it is you desire. Expectancy. Can you feel that word? It's open, it's grand, it's willing to know a new way of being, a new way of showing up, a new way of seeing the world, a new way of understanding what is going on in all the different layers of everybody's lives every minute, no matter what their pretty faces they're showing you at that moment in time. Because most of the time we have no idea. But if we can just stand in a place and know that all is well, not spiritual bypass here. No. What we do is we actually go into the principle of wholeness. The principle of wholeness. That recognizing that everybody, no matter what the situation is, no matter what is going on, is innately whole. There is a place inside of us that has never been touched, can never be damaged, can never be destroyed or disturbed. That is the wholeness. That is the truth of who we are. Always. In every minute. Now, the conditions around us, our personal experiences, what's coming our way, of course, that is happening, and we never deny that. But what we can do is hold and see our fellow people in the space of wholeness. And when we can see that, they can see it too. For we hold the light and the love and the reflection for the people around us. We're drawn to be that, to be the divine in action. Scott Aubrey is one of this wonderful, amazing, spiritual, I call him a creature because he's just so brilliant, continually just feeds all of us ministers with quotes and ideas and all these different ways to support the ministers of CSL. He said this: when bad things happen, rather than asking, why did this happen to me, we can ask, why did this happen for me? Knowing that every prime experience in our lives invites us to go deeper into the heart of meaning, the lesson, the experience. We can remember that every person in our lives is the occasion of spirit, and that we're ready to be inspired and enlightened. Woo! I love that. And when we come into community, that is our call. We don't have to do anything. We don't have to do anything. We just have to be. We are human beings. So when we show up, and we show up as these wonderful, inspired human beings, that we are connecting our spirituality to our humanity. We get to do this just by being here, by being open to listen, to hear. We don't have to give advice. We don't have to know anything about anything except the wholeness of the person who is in front of you. Remember that thing, that quote I always say, There's no person's eye you can look into that is not loved by God. So remember that when we're looking at somebody. So wholeness. Wholeness is this connection to our own soul, to humanity, to move through this way that we can see around us and not get absorbed by the condition. Wholeness, we can see, look through the condition to the person in front of you. This is how we can deal and handle the new things that are coming our way that society is offering us, the new identities, the new way people want to be seen, the new way of accepting the different layers of our humanity. And when we go to the principle of wholeness, we truly are connecting spiritually to that humanity. I'm going to read for you from my favorite author, Mark Nepo. To marry one's soul. If we are to live without silencing or numbing essential parts of who we are, a vow must be evoked and upheld within oneself. The same commitments we pronounce when embarking on a marriage can be understood internally as a devotion to the care of one's soul, to have and to hold, for better or worse, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish till death do us part. This means staying committed to your inner path. This means not separating from yourself when things get tough or confusing. This means accepting and embracing your faults and limitations. It means loving yourself no matter how others see you. It means cherishing the unchangeable radiance that lives within you, no matter the cuts and the bruises along the way. It means binding your life with the solemn pledge to the truth of your soul. It is interesting that the nautical definition of marry is to join two ropes end to end by interweaving their strands. To marry one's soul suggests that we interweave the life of our spirit with the life of our psychology, the life of our heart with the life of our mind, the life of our faith with the truth, the life of our faith and truth with the life of our doubt and anxiety. I got to read that one again. The life of our faith and truth with the life of our doubt and anxiety. And just as two ropes that are married create a tie that is twice as strong, when we marry our humanness to our spirit, we create a life that is doubly strong in the world. So when we reach forward and we marry our own soul, when we connect our spirituality to our humanity, we double our strength of life in the world. This is our participation, and the call is now. So I invite you for this coming week to walk it out, to know your connectedness, to feel your spiritual connection with your own humanity, to see the wholeness in all those around you. For when you hold it for another in complete conviction, they will know it for themselves. So it is. Thank you. All right. Let's take this to prayer. So as we take a beautiful deep breath in, we recognize the power and presence of the divine, the all that is, that magnificent creative intelligence that is having its way in, through, and as every single expression. There is nowhere where God is not. So I know and recognize for each and every one of us here today that there is this divine presence in all that we think, do, say, feel, and experience. And we are having a magnificent time enjoying that beauty that flows through us, that truth, that wonderment, that miracle that flows through us in all that we do. And so I know for each one of us as we walk our path this week, that we walk it enlivened and enlightened and inspired by all that we see around us, all that we have felt through the Olympics, seen in the different athletes, knowing that they too are part of this whole that we are a part of. And as they expand, so we do too. And as we expand and stretch ourselves, so does this divine energy that is God. And I know that it's brilliant. I know that it is easy, for it is the truth of who we are, this wholeness that resides within. And so I claim this. I claim this for each one of us easily, effortlessly, for to claim the truth is to stand in conviction with a big old smile on your face, knowing that is the warmth of your heart, that is the light that resides in you and everybody. So I call it good. And I just release this prayer, knowing that Spirit has said, yes, yes, my beloveds, yes. It is done exactly as you desire, and it is already done magnificently. So we can claim this together by saying, and so it is. Thank you.